Well, I think, Will Cox was huge for us today. I think it's so neat to see Will progress and get to the bottom of the strike zone, and, he's so efficient. He threw 80 pitches, but I think going into the seventh, he had 63 in that area right there. That's very efficient, and, he gave us the opportunity, hopefully, to get our bullpen back for Tuesday and Wednesday, and it's a tough stretch for us in terms of the amount of games we're playing in a short amount of time, but Will was outstanding, and, the opportunity to get Fitz and Shelley out there was very beneficial to us. Felt like, Alex had a very solid day for us. Hit 2 balls pretty well, and then the one infield pop-up, but, there's some things we didn't execute that we just have to get better with in terms of the squeeze and some other things, but at the same time, our kids are pretty resilient, and I feel like we're going to put pretty good swings on the ball. So I think it's a good day for us from the standpoint of saving our bullpen, but at the same time, I think there's some glaring things we need to address and work on in practice, but that's what this time of year is all about.
How's Will different from last year, John? Is he more of a pitcher and less of a thrower now?
Well, I think the biggest thing is his changeup. I think, Butch was on a mission to get him a changeup, and that's what it is. So he's got a 2-seamer that really moves, but he can, that's 85, 87. His 4-seam, he can get up to 90, and then he's got this changeup that's in that 80, 82, 83. Changing speeds is everything. When you talk to big league pitchers, that's what they talk about. Missing barrels is about changing speeds, and that's what Will's doing for us right now. And I think he just keeps getting better every time he goes out there.
How's Renfro's wrist?
Yeah, I think I actually got him in a hand. I'm not sure what you call it, but we'll get an X-ray and we'll see how it is. I think he could have played today. I think he told me, he said, "Coach, I could play. It's really sore, but I could play." And but we didn't want to risk that, and we wanted to get Armstrong in the game because he's somebody who's worked very hard. He's been very deserving. His practices have been outstanding, and I thought he played very, very well today also.
In the past, you might have saved lineups like this for a midweek game or something, but you're testing against an NCAA team.
Yeah, Samford's a good ball club. They can really hit. The minute you get into a little bit of lazy up in the zone. The Irwin kid hits it out of the ballpark, and they can fight you. They're a good club, and quite frankly, so is Purdue. I think this is a nice little test for us, a nice little weekend, because I think both those teams are going to do some damage in their leagues this year.
So
What do you
plans?
think? Yeah,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
Plans for this week with
Woody,
6 games and.
Woody will go on Tuesday, and then. I think it was very beneficial for us not to have to get Pollo into this game because I think he might be able to start on Wednesday or maybe even back up Woody on Tuesday. So that really helps our cause. But don't know on Wednesday, but for right now, we'll have Woody on the mound on Tuesday.
Get on a little bit, but just what do you think you learned about your club over this weekend and finally not finally, but you got tested in one of those games, having to come back?
Well, this ballpark really dictates one-run games. When we play inter-squad after inter-squad game, they're all one-run games, so our kids are just so used to it. But I think what we learned is who can come off the bench and help us, who can come in the game situationally on the mound. I think we've learned, pinch running, pinch hitting, duties, late inning defensive replacements. We had an idea about that, but until kids actually go out and do it, it's difficult. And what's really difficult is when you get into shadows here and sun issues. Again, you practice those things, but once they happen in a game, it's a lot different. So really proud of that part of our club. I think we have a lot of components that are going to help us win games.
Thanks, John.
Thank